Property prices have soared in recent years. In December 2019, the median house price in Brisbane was $577,000. Fast forward to today, it's over $840,000. But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to show you 5 hidden suburbs where you can still buy a house. Yeah, that's right, a house or a townhouse for under $700,000. We'll deep dive into each of these suburbs, breaking down why these areas are not just affordable, but also packed with potential future growth, and give you an insider's tip on a couple of them that you might not have heard of. Unlike other videos that throw in a couple of Logan or Ipswich suburbs, this is purely for Brisbane suburbs. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where you can find the perfect house without breaking the bank. But before we get into it, if you get any value at all from this video, it would mean so much if you could hit that like and subscribe to our channel. You'll get more tips like this every week. So let's jump right in. Since COVID, everyone seemed to want a piece of the Brisbane market, especially in those inner and middle ring suburbs. But there just aren't enough homes to go around. In fact, the number of homes up for grabs is 34% below the 5-year average. The rental market is also tighter than ever, with low vacancy rates and rents that just seem to keep climbing. It's a tough situation that's been pushing more and more people looking to buy. Adding to that pressure, and I guess as a bit of a silver lining if you're a first home buyer, the Queensland government increased the stamp duty concession cap. So previously you can only get stamp duty waived for $500,000, but in 2024, the Queensland government increased that cap up to homes purchased up to $700,000, saving you around $20,000 in stamp duty costs. But the kicker on that cap is that only about 20% of houses in Brisbane fall below this value. So you may need to look further out. But on the bright side, if you're looking at a unit, up to 60% of units in Brisbane are valued under $700,000. Now at the end of the video, I'll take you through the methodology, but the way we got to these suburbs wasn't just the price. We looked at a bunch of different factors to make sure that they're a good investment both now and into the future. So let's break down the top 5 suburbs to buy in Brisbane for under $700,000. The first suburb on our list is 8 Mile Plains. Just 14 km from the Brisbane CBD, it's known for its multicultural community and awesome amenities. The area is becoming increasingly popular with first home buyers. As of August 2024, the median price for a 3-bedroom house was around $388,000. Now you might be thinking that's pretty close to the $700,000 limit, and you're kind of right. When we look at the data from SQM, they're actually reporting a median house price of $785,000. And looking at a lot of the recent sales for homes, they're over $700,000 limit. But I wouldn't be telling you about the suburb if it wasn't one you could buy in. 3-bedroom townhouses are regularly selling for under $700,000. In terms of demand, 3-bedroom houses and 3-bedroom units are selling pretty quickly in 8 Mile Plains at 29 days and 24 days respectively. That means you're going to need to move quickly if you find a place that you like. Otherwise, it's going to get snapped up by someone else. When it comes to safety, 8 Mile Plains perform pretty well. It is a crime rank of 10 out of 100, where lower numbers indicate safer areas. To put this into perspective, you're more likely to encounter property crimes like theft than violent crimes. The chance of experience of violent crime in 8 Mile Plains is about 1 in 528, which is better than both the state and national averages. If you've seen any of our other videos, you always need to keep in mind flood risk when you're looking at buying in Brisbane. 8 Mile Plains is considered a pretty low risk area. While the headwaters of Bulimba Creek run through the suburbs, major flooding isn't typically a concern. There are some pockets there that you need to be aware of, so if you're looking at a house in 8 Mile Plains, it's still worth spooling up the flood map to make sure that you're not impacted. One of 8 Mile Plains' strongest selling points is its infrastructure. The suburb is really well connected, with easy access to major motorways like the Pacific and Gateway. If you're commuting to the CBD or heading to the Gold Coast, you're going to find it pretty straightforward with access to both highways. Public transport is another strong point with express buses and the nearby Southeast Busway. For your day-to-day needs, Westfield Garden City is just around the corner, offering a bunch of shops and options there for dining. Should you buy an 8 Mile Plains? Well, if you're considering it as a first home, it has a lot to offer. It's got lots of diverse housing options between houses, townhouses and units to give you options to grow into larger property as your family grows. Just keep in mind, properties in this area move pretty quickly, so it's a good idea to have your finances in order and be ready to move quickly if you find the right home. It's definitely one of those suburbs too where you don't want to be afraid to look at properties at the lower end of the range if you're willing to get your hands a bit dirty. Sometimes smart renovations can add a lot of value to your home, helping you build equity for the future. Next on our list is Calamvale, a suburb located 18 kilometers south of Brisbane CBD. Its green spaces are making it pretty popular among first home buyers. As of 2024, the median price for a 3-bedroom house, according to Domain, is $630,000. SQM says the median house price is $715,000. Recently sold listings are showing a fair few 3-bedroom townhouses selling for under $700,000 mark, so it's likely your best bet. Prices for 3-bedroom houses in Calamvale have increased by 10% over the past quarter, while units are up 3.3% over the quarter and up 7.9% month on month. With 29 median days on market for houses and 23 days on units, it's another market where houses and units are getting snapped up pretty quickly. Regarding safety, Calamvale performs pretty well. The chance of expecting violent crime is low, 1 in 545, which is better than both the Queensland and national averages. Flood risk in Calamvale relates to localised flooding during heavy rainfall. So major river flooding isn't typically a big concern, but there are areas that experience issues with water runoff and drainage, so be aware of that. Calamvale offers strong infrastructure and amenities. The suburb is well connected by major roads, making it pretty easy to get to Brisbane's CBD and other areas. There's also multiple bus routes available, making it easy to get in and out of the suburb. For your daily needs, residents have access to shopping centres like Calamvale Central, and the suburb has a bunch of different parks and recreational areas, giving you space for community engagement. So if you're thinking about Calamvale for your first home, there's a couple of different factors there that weigh up. There's a good balance of affordability, amenities, and community lifestyle. Units or townhouses are going to be your best bet in the area for under $700,000. Next up is Kuraby, about 16 kilometres southeast of Brisbane CBD. It's known for its community, great transportation, and attractive options for first home buyers. The property market in Kuraby has been pretty dynamic recently. As of August 2024, the median house price for a 3-bedroom house was $630,000 according to Domain. According to SQM, it was $780,000, and this could be why they disagree. Over the past year, we've seen substantial increases in property values, with prices for 3-bedroom houses growing about 50%, including a 20% jump in the past quarter alone. Domain's calculations may not have caught up. The good news is townhouses are regularly selling for under $700,000. For instance, a 3-bedroom townhouse on Alpeta Street recently sold for $632,000, while another one on Allingham recently sold for $550,000. Like the other markets, it's worth noting that properties in Kuraby are selling really quickly. Houses are typically selling within 32 days of listing, and units are just selling within 13 days. So you're going to want to be prepared to act fast when you find the right property. Looking at safety, Kuraby performs pretty well. The chance of experiencing violent crime is pretty low, 1 in 794, which is better than both Queensland and national averages. Flood risk is mostly around overland flow, which happens after heavy rainfall, so unlike river or creek flooding, overland flow occurs when intense rain overwhelms drainage systems. There are a few spots, especially around the gateway, that you need to look out for, so make sure you check your council reports before making any offers on properties in Kuraby. Again, Kuraby really shines when it comes to infrastructure, especially transportation options. The suburb boasts a train station and direct links to the Brisbane City and Gold Coast, making a great location if you're looking at either city. In terms of amenity, Kuraby is well served by local shops and is close to a couple of large shopping centres in neighbouring areas. If you're looking at Kuraby for your first home, there's a lot to think about. Lots of pros and potential growth in the future, but keep in mind how quickly properties are selling in the area. You need to be quick and decisive when you find the right house. If you're working for that budget under $700,000, then townhouses or units are going to be your best bet. If you're looking at houses in Kuraby, just pay attention to how close you are to the train station. While it's great to have that local amenity, having a house too close to the tracks could mean you're experiencing noise throughout the night. Next up is Forest Lake. Located 19 kilometers southwest of the CBD, the property market in Forest Lake has been pretty active recently. Once again, Domain is showing a lower median house price than SQM. SQM is saying the median asking price for a 3-bedroom house is $716,000. Now, I get that's over our $700,000 target, but there's still opportunity to find homes within the budget. For example, a 3-bedroom house on Centennial Way recently sold for $665,000. The market in Forest Lake moves really quickly, with houses typically selling within 21 days of listing, suggesting pretty strong demand in the area, so you need to move quickly when you find the right place. Forest Lake is another relatively safe suburb to live in. You're much less likely to become a victim of either a violent crime or property crime in Forest Lake compared to the state and national averages. Both violent and property crimes are on a bit of an upward trend over the past few years, but even so, the numbers aren't too bad when you compare to the state averages. The most common crimes here are theft and burglary. So if you do buy here, some home security could go a long way to ensuring you've got a bit of peace of mind there. Forest Lake has some flood risk considerations, particularly around severe weather or potential flash flooding. It's also known as one of the most top 5 storm-affected suburbs in Queensland. Most of the at-risk areas are parks or green space rather than houses, but just be aware if you back onto a park, you could be impacted. Forest Lake really stands out for its well-planned infrastructure. As a master planned community, it's designed to offer high quality of life while access to the city. The Forest Lake Shopping Centre serves as a hub for the community, offering a range of retail and dining options, and there's a bunch of different parks and walking trails, giving you stuff to do on the weekend. So should you buy in Forest Lake? There's a lot to do. There's family-friendly environment and heaps of amenities, giving you a lot to think about. While the median house price is still slightly above $700,000, there's still opportunities to buy properties within that budget. Now let's head north to Taigum, a suburb located about 16 kilometers north of Brisbane CBD. Affordability has really been pushing more and more home buyers to the area, so is it worth considering? As of August 2024, Domain reports a median house price of $623,000, but SQM suggests a higher $788,000. Recent sales data shows that there's still opportunities to find homes for under $700,000, particularly townhouses. For example, a 3-bedroom townhouse on Hanford Road recently sold for $652,000, while another on Heathwood Street sold for $649,000. The market in Taigum moves relatively quickly, with properties typically selling within 27 days of listing. Looking at crime data, you don't need to worry too much about safety in Taigum, with lower rates of violent and property crime than the national averages. A slight increase in crime over the past 5 years, but it's still pretty low. Theft is most common here with a low number of burglaries. Yeah, flood risk. Taigum has some flood risk considerations, especially when it comes to creek flooding. Overland flooding looks mostly to be confined to parks around Taigum, but just be aware of it. Make sure, again, you do your flood maps before making any offers. Taigum offers a mix of established infrastructure and ongoing developments. The suburb's pretty well connected to major roads, making commuting to CBD relatively straightforward. There's also public transport, mostly through buses. For daily needs, Taigum's close to several shopping centres, including Taigum Square, and recent and planned developments are expanding the housing options available in Taigum, which could lead to improved amenities in the future. If you're considering Taigum for your first home, there's a couple of different factors to think about. It's relatively affordable compared to some of the neighbours, which could allow you to get into the market sooner. Townhouses present probably the most affordable option under the $700,000 mark and could allow you to get into the market, saving on that stamp duty and potentially using the home guarantee scheme. When you're house hunting in Taigum, pay attention to specific areas in the suburbs. Some areas might be prone to flooding, others might have better access to public transportation, so I suggest jumping on WalkScore to make sure you get the best of both worlds when you find the right home. Alright, so let's recap those hidden gems. We've explored 8 Mile Plains, Calamvale, Kuraby, Forest Lake, and Taigum, 5 suburbs where your budget can still open doors for under $700,000. Remember that each of these areas offers something unique, from 8 Mile Plains' cultural diversity to Forest Lake's family-friendly atmosphere. There's a suburb here for every lifestyle, but don't just take my word for it. You need to go out and explore these neighborhoods for yourself. Walk the streets, chat to the locals, and imagine what it's like to live in these actual communities. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, what if prices keep rising? Well, that's exactly why now could be the right time to act for you. With the first home guarantee scheme and the stamp duty concession, this helps get your foot into the door. But I guess overall, here's the most important takeaway. Buying your home isn't just about the property. It's about starting your journey as a home buyer. Really, it's about that first step of building equity, creating stability, and having a place to call your own. With the right information and bit of determination, your dream of home ownership is within reach. Remember, each property journey starts with the first step, so why not make one of these suburbs your home? If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you end up buying one of those suburbs, drop a comment to let us know. At Hunter Galloway, we're the home for home buyers across Australia. If you need any help with finance or working out if you're eligible for a home loan today, hit us up at huntergalloway.com.au. There's no fees for our service and we'd love to help you buy your first home. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and until next time, see you later.